Jared, good to see you.
Great to be here, thank you.
Let's get right into it, because you're a busy person, you've been pulled all over this conference, and I appreciate you having the time to do this with us. From your perspective, how do you assure HIV clinical research is designed so that the people most impacted by the outcomes are centered to the whole process?
No, there's no point in doing work that doesn't end up connecting with the communities who are most at need. You have to, from the moment you are thinking about clinical research, before there's a word on a page, it is engagement with communities so that the answers that you generate one day will be relevant. Will be able to change people's real lives.
Right.
Yeah.
Putting people first.
Putting people first.
We've been saying it all week. How have you seen community engagement present in the clinical work here at AIDS 2024, and what's the impact of the research presented here at the conference?
There's nothing like this kind of meeting to illustrate the interplay of good clinical research and good community advocacy. We do this work because we want it to have impact. And no matter how great a clinical trial is, no how great a presentation is on stage or in some published paper, none of that makes any difference unless it leads into impact and delivery in people's lives. The only way you get there is community engagement from the get-go. We've seen some tremendous work this week where trials are more successful. Trials have immediate resonance with the world because they were designed with community at the table from the very beginning.
Thank you. That was a really interesting conversation. And here to join the conversation now is Mitchell Warren, Executive Director of AVAC, and Mpolokeng Mohloai from Mothers to Mothers to talk about looking ahead, the HIV of tomorrow. Thank you all very much for being here. I'm going to start with you, Mpolokeng. What do you believe is the advantage of having women living with HIV employed as community health workers?
Wow, that one is very critical, because hiring women living with HIV as community health workers is an investment, because these people, they are coming from the same communities. They understand the challenges at communities, so if you put them at a driving wheel, they will learn, they will also empower others because they understand the barriers, the challenges. Furthermore, if you are employing them, you give them that passion to say, I can do it because now I am employed. And then they are the living experiences because they have gone through the journey. Furthermore, they are also the people that people can trust because they are from the same communities.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you find that you get that connection much quicker because you have that in common?
Definitely, yes.
Yeah. HIV treatment and prevention obviously is at the epicenter of the efforts to end HIV. What does the future look like for HIV treatment and prevention in your eyes?
So I really think we are at a tremendous point in HIV. When you look back 40 years and how far we have come, and how innovation, advocacy, more advocacy, community, government, policy, all working together, got us to where we are. And I think we're at a place now where we really can be looking ahead to ending the HIV epidemic and ending it everywhere.
You really believe that?
I really do believe that. I believe that it is, although I'm running around all week, it is so energizing to be here, and to be here in a week that is so full of positive energy, because it's a week where I think people will look back on this and say, this is a week that we really believed that we could end the epidemic all around the world. The future is about taking the tools we have and building new tools.
Right.
Particularly things that fit really into people's lives in both treatment and prevention, so that everyone gets to treatment or prevention option that's going to really work for them. We put that all together with the advocacy will, with the great science, with the community engagement, with the political will. We put it all together, and that's what gets us to the end.
Collaboration is key.
Oh, so much.
Yeah.
It is partnerships upon partnerships upon partnerships.
Mitchell, for you, how is AVAC accelerating ethical development and equitable delivery, of effective HIV prevention options?
It actually goes exactly back to the theme of the conference, putting people first. And it's what we've been saying in HIV for even longer than a conference, and that is nothing for us without us. And that's true of developing products, and it's got to be true of delivering products, because as important as clinical trials are, clinical trials don't prevent infections unless you're in the study, and they certainly don't end epidemics. So you've really got to center community. And we've been working around this for decades, particularly when I think now of antiretroviral-based prevention, PrEP. when you think 20 years ago, some of the trials really struggled because they didn't involve communities. Part of accelerating the science is actually engaging all stakeholders earlier in the process, in the design of not just the trials, even of the design of products and thinking about it. That's how you accelerate it, and it's how you connect what I call R&D and D, research and development and delivery. If we only do R&D and we don't think about delivery at the beginning, we will fail. It's really connecting all of those dots.
Well, speaking of those kind of partnerships, how do investigational, person-centric compounds fit into the larger conversation around HIV treatment and prevention, do you think?
For so long, we worked so hard to be able to get medicines to be able to save people's lives. And what a change. And what a change that was. And then we worked so hard to be able to get prevention options so people could take control of prevention within their own lives. Now we really have to be able to work on options that fit into people's lives so that every person can get to successful treatment or prevention. We have options for treatment and for prevention, and yet there are still 1.3 million new infections that occur around the world every year. There are still millions of people who aren't virally suppressed, who are living with HIV but aren't virally suppressed, and it is not because of them, and it's not because of their virus. It's because we haven't yet built the options that are going to make them able to turn off their virus or bring to prevention that's going to work for them.
Yeah, and that's sort of on the science side of things. I also think stigma. I say this all the time. I'm like, HIV and AIDS doesn't have to kill you. It doesn't in this day and age, but it's stigma. And that goes from the level of just the personal stuff to the criminalization, to governments, to policy. It all starts there.
It is, stigma poisons all that we try to do in HIV, and how we can use moments like this to think about how to bust through some of the stigma. How we can use energy about talking and normalizing about HIV treatment and prevention and testing to be able to talk about HIV more openly, which sort of breaks down some of the stigma. How we can think about building new innovations like long-acting options for both treatment and prevention that can give people a discrete something that they can use to treat or prevent HIV that is under their control and discreet and private, and so they don't have to encounter the challenges with for many people a daily pill and the stigma of carrying that around.
I think of homelessness, right? People who don't have any. How are you supposed to stay on your treatment if you don't have anywhere to put your treatment?
Exactly. So we got to build the options that fit into people's lives.
Mpolokeng, you've tell me more about the strategy. Health for all brings opportunities for all. How does that work? The strategic partnerships with mother to mother, and how do you get those implemented?
Putting community first, and then we make sure that these people are the ones that are leading the way. It makes healthy people, because the people that are getting the services from the same people that are coming from the same communities, it makes health for all. Because if we look at the approach that we are using for Healthy for All, it's a combination of services, people-centered care, integrated service delivery, because we are not taking diseases in silo, we are integrating them together. So people, when they are having all those, they are all covered, because the people that are giving them the services, they are not only targeting one disease area, they are giving them the comprehensive service delivery. And also to go forward, when you're talking about the partnerships, it's very critical.
And we were saying that earlier, we weren't, Jared?
Yeah, because the partnerships, it starts even at the lower level, where the local chiefs, we need to partner with them, because they are the ones that are the gatekeepers of what is happening in their communities. The regional levels, national levels, and also to partner also with even their donors. If we are partnering to people that are having the same commitment with us, like Gilead, we are partnering with them now, and we are having best results ever. So partnership is very critical as well.
Yeah, I love it. Mitchell, what have you seen and heard at the conference over the past week that excites you as we look ahead to tomorrow's HIV epidemic?
John, I don't know that I have ever in my now 30 plus years in this field been more excited about the opportunity, but it also raises both great opportunity but huge challenges, because we have a history in this field of squandering opportunities. And so for me, the issue is, will we seize this one? And history will judge us harshly if we don't deliver, but it is a conference really of opportunity, I would say.
Jared, what do you see as the future of the HIV/AIDS movement beyond 2030 and those targets that have been set?
I want to see a world beyond 2030 where none of us have to have this meeting. It's one meeting 2030 and a little bit where there's a big celebratory meeting like this, a reunion.
Remember when?
Remember when meeting.
Yeah.
And because I think there's nothing that anybody at this conference would rather do than not work on HIV at all anymore. And that's me included. So if we can get to that, if we can get to a world where we have been able to end the epidemic all around the world, that's where I want to push. Push in prevention, push in treatment, and push in partnership, because that's how we're going to be able to get there together.
Mpolokeng, Mitchell, Jared, thank you so much for this chat.